Ah, oj, oj, oj.
Thierry on the podium, but not anymore. Then he was into a bail at the next chicane. Perhaps trying too hard.
Maybe clutch.
Team, this might explain how the Audi got to where it... Oh, crikey, that was a big hit.
That was, yeah.
Huge amount of difference other than on the first section where it's the high speed, and one of the Lamborghinis there, also adding to the debris quota, running it wide up and bits flail. That's got to go for the pit lane, surely. And bang.
Unforgiving, the Macau.
Big impact, big hit into the wall, and that is a destroyed Audi. This was the impact. Not quite sure why it was on that line going into the corner, but look at the damage done to the barrier. Don't think there was contact, but at very high speed, off the road it went, and has just absolutely negotiate the car. In fact, oh, there's the oil, and Darrell Young catches it. He's in the wall, he's on two wheels, he just misses the stricken car, but that was because he hit the oil. There was no slippery surface flag.
So we're about to see why. It is for the incident for the number 8 car that turning to the scene of that incident. Now this is an incident that we haven't seen.
7 Matt getting a bit of a tap by 27 of...
with an amazing advantage as well already, and we've got somebody spinning and hitting the wall in the background. That's not good news.
It's Ginetta 7, isn't it? Sorry, 3 laps to go, I should say. And there, Nicholas Lai dives up the inside, contact inevitable, turns Evan Mack around and blocks the road briefly. Got there, just too much speed into the corner. Here's the answer. Audi understeers, bang, bounce, and there is who did what to which and to whom. The Golf bounces into the barrier, and yes, completely innocent, nowhere to go. 17 finds a car bouncing back.
Finishing up in second place, and a replay of the number 10 car hitting the... Are they the only 2 cars that we saw going off? So
and I think they're independent accidents, aren't
yeah,
they? There's the
are.
Lotus.
Yeah.
But he's very second-hand, and this was how he did it. He just understeers out wide and crunch.
Yeah.
And how did he do it? Self-induced by the look of it. Understeer.
Just
bang.
Yeah.
Now here's the replay. Self-induced, big lose coming out of Mandarin. Around goes the Peugeot. Rips off the wheel and keeps on spinning, and then the wheel is hit by one of the other RCZ. Does this show us how we lost 62? It does. Around goes Paul Fan, and crunch into the wall he goes.
Alves Dias in the Mini, not surprisingly, gets the pedal down first, makes a little break, and in the background, unfortunately, a number of cars coming together on the restart. There are at least 3 cars involved in that. There are going to be more. Oh dear, oh dear.
Red flag, race stop, because others unsighted accelerating into the corner, come across a blocked circuit. There are more for this. Huge contact there as the Lotus piles in. 72 Peugeots involved. Right, that's where it went wrong. So it was Chen Kin Sang who was too fast into the corner. Others followed his pace and got it wrong. And now, of course, the next wave have just got nowhere to go. And that was a massive hit for 32 of Lin Li up from the back of the grid, and she really copped for the biggest hit of all. And then there, it's going to take longer. There's the replay, all locked up, and there's only one place that's going. There's the replay of Wang Yumeng headbutting the tyres from another angle. Slipstream as they head down towards Lisboa.
It's a great opportunity for Li Sucheng as well. We've got one going round, hitting the barrier, and hitting the barrier again as in fact, for yesterday as well.
Whoa.
The 2 of them have been battling together. Another one hits the back. It's the 27.
Chang gets his nose in front. He's got to brake as late as he dares. Almost banging wheels. Leung back up the inside. He goes through. Others go up the escape road. Charles Leung leads out of the corner, and mayhem breaks out. 2 in the tyres at Lisboa.
Yeah.
Swede,
he's
very experienced driver actually.
Absolutely.
And that's just...
There's gravel on the track as well, isn't there? From earlier instance, and Christian just lost the back end of the car, made contact with the barriers. So let's take a look here.
Here it comes.
I wonder if that looks like the Roy Carroll car. You're right, he's picked up damage. That's the on board with Podoliccio then.
I got it.
Oh my goodness me. So John Vortig right across the front of him.
6-7.
Oh, okay.
Here is Panalone and...
Oh, and just, I mean, to be fair, where could he go?
No, yes. Out of the last corner, for sure, they need to clean it. Yeah, it's just a small contact.
And
but
then
you know, 40 cars are coming.
That's where he caught the James Wyland car. Perhaps we can see it here. Yeah, that was it.
Nothing can do it. To the driving and not look so much to the mirror. Oh, let's see next.
Oh, that's Benoit Bergeron into Laurent Demuze. Big impact into the barriers.
I don't know if there was contact or not, but with 700 horsepower, also trying to pull away from probably 100 kph that they're doing, it's quite difficult.
Yeah, well, within class, and of course in the World Championship race, there is only one world champion. Whatever region you are from, Liam, you've picked something up there. My goodness me. Example of why is Claudio Schiavone, I think. And that is the reason why you see the 119 car of Paul Rogers in the... It looks pretty likely, and Thomas Neubauer, also another very, very strong starter, but Neubauer is round, makes contact with the barriers. A couple of other drivers go in as well.
The barrier needs to be there to protect the drivers if something goes awry, and as it did here. And
comes the replay that you asked for. Well, to me, it looked like Faisal Al-Faisal got a lump in the back from the number 25 car.
Almost drilled the back of Di Pasquale. And this is the challenge. The gravel's done a fine job. And so are those safety back. Very close to the back of the Shell car. That was Anton's car. You've experienced this. Absolutely.
Fife here, he's going to go around the outside of everyone. And then Payne just comes out of the gloom straight ahead, and Mazuris follows him. You can see him once he gets onto the old drag strip there. That's a burnout pad now. You are a passenger. And
top, let's see what's happened.
Just on the gear change, second to third. Snapped away cold tyre and backed it in to the concrete wall.
And the field somehow get by. Do they? Just yes. Oh my goodness.
Oh, we've got one around here at turn one. Tim Blanchard. Top 10. Let's have a look at this replay. And around Foley goes. Rotates him.
Stuck down there in the fence, bringing out the red flag. There's implications for that. And this is the real-time vision. Thankfully nosed in there.
And Payne up the inside of Boys. Tries 2 for 1. And around Boys goes. Grabs a gear and gets going, but loses a few spots in the...
Ojeda just got out of there. So Ojeda managed to keep that thing going. This is it from turn 2. How's the skate? Whack.
Big contact, though, to the side of Ojeda's car.
Through that first turn, Hearn gets sideways, gets a tank slapper. He's going to spin in front of the group with the cars here. Will they avoid him? No, they don't. We picked him up in the middle of turn number 1. Pulls across. There was going to be contact, but
Unforced error.
this is LaChalpo and Scatella at turn number 5. It was a busy first lap. Sweeney coming down the inside of Warren Love. You can just see, just understeers a little bit wide. There's just a slight contact. And in these conditions, you don't need a lot to... Fortunately for him, he didn't make it that far. Oh, there's a bit of contact there. Just as they crest the hill. And that sent Danaher to the... There it is. Sent him left, straight through the bollard into the... Actually, it wasn't too bad in the sense that it kissed the wall side on. Engineered this weekend. Someone's having a massive moment. That's Hearn. Hearn for the second time. He's going to hit the wall. It's 23 as they all squirm their way. Another car off in the background. Is that Mawson? Another wild moment. Now Mawson off the track. Great respect and high pressure motor racing there through turn 2 and 3. So working out ways, contact down here between Purdy and Mawson at the turn 8 hairpin.
That was really awkward.
E agora a gente vai para a configuração aqui, ó. Casagrande já vai aparecendo ali na 5ª posição. Já tem um toque lá, é com o Chris Ram. Do César Ramos que tenta dar o troco agora. Vão chegar na curva do laço e aí tem o toque, a pena vai para fora. Olha só que imagem impressionante no carro do Arthur Leist.
O cara de ser pastilha de freio que se incendiou, não, é fogo maior.
Agora é fogo, ali tem jeito de ser combustível, vazamento, pode até ser
próximo aos escapamentos, né? Opa, acidente ali do Luiz com o Rafael Teixeira também.
Mesmo.
E bom que deu certo, né? Ninguém se machucou.
Exatamente, aí tem o toque lá do Lusquinhas, olha. O Rafa Teixeira passa pelo segundo, já vem no off-road o Zezinho Mujatti, já vem no off-road também. O Gabriel Robi aí tem o toque.
O Zezinho voltou perigosamente ali na frente do Iório.
Vem com o push aí. O Zezinho Mujatti segura o carro por ali. O Iório vem pra curva e tem o toque com todo mundo. Com o Lusquinhas de novo, o Lusquinhas envolvido no
championship at Moss at the season closing round this year, and actually was pretty competitive on it, but you can see there just gets a bit of a kick from the bike there.
Commentating Alex Lowe's going down, and just on the exit there of the first and second turn.
Yeah, it's a little bit dirty offline, speaking to a few from that, and he just gets thrown over the high side on the run into 15 there, the decreasing radius right-hander at the end.
They meet in the middle. Oh, and down goes Bassani. I think he may have been collected by Michael van der Mark there after a bit of a moment coming off the final turn. Moved out of the way by Razgat Lioglu, and here's going to be the moment for him coming off the final turn. And he does get collected somewhat there by Michael van der Mark. Wrong place, wrong time as far as Bassani is concerned.
Yeah, I think we saw crashes here in the Asia Talent Cup race over the weekend from running out onto the curbs. Obviously in these conditions the curb's very wet, and that's what catches tackle out. And just keep an eye at the back end of this shot. You can see just loses the front through there, and it is a fast place to come off there for Gonzalez. Turn 10, so we're going to see what happens as they come through the flip-flops. It was actually through turn 8 that he lost it, and then that bike just carries all the way down towards the inside of turn 10, so it was it's lucky that it manages to get stopped in that grass on the run down into 10.
Birds moving out of the way for the Ghost Rider, riding around all the way down to bring the top 10 riders, and a faller towards the second half of the group as they make their way through. And we're going to see the incident perhaps here, and it's going to be 2 riders involved. That's a straight forward.
Have to push on because they're seeing it start to split out, and yeah, he just runs out onto the green paint, and there is that bit of a kick off the curb there for him. You can see there.
As we switch back to the battles further down the order. Dale, well, they've switched at just the right time. Dale making a lunge down the inside. I think that might have been of Aditama.
Yeah, keep an eye in the background, and you're going to see for Denisha, just tries to be a little bit aggressive through that last corner, trying to make sure he's able to close up on Carter Thompson.
Exactly what happened. It's the number 25. That's Pratama, Veda Pratama, who has gone down.
But Hergen's got through on him again. That's one rider running off. It could be Aditama that's gone down there in the number 3 machine.
Just a little bit deep. I think maybe, yeah, oh, high side though. But as you saw, he's made up some positions on his place on the grid. Oh, just loses it straight down. At least rider very much okay. It's going to be a replay of Garcia. Yeah, I think.
That's a nasty one.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a hit there, wasn't it, for Josito? And Holgado was a